rAskReddit, what is the most wholesome fact you know? Hundreds of retired Japanese engineers volunteered to fix the nuclear crisis at the Fukushima power station so young people wouldn't have to be subjected to the radiation. The Netherlands sends Canada 20,000 tulip bulbs every year to thank them for their help during World War II. More specifically, Canada sheltered a princess, Juliana, and her daughters for 3 years, and when Juliana gave birth, the government had the hospital declared extraterritorial so that Juliana's daughter could remain a Dutch citizen. ETA, Canadians also liberated much of the Netherlands. Worded it the way I did because when I lived in Ottawa, the focus was always more on the story of Juliana and Margriet, her daughter. Whales will bring their whale baby 0s to visit their grandparent whales. So like a whale will have a baby, and that whale will have a baby, and the first whale will help care for the youngest whale. Sometimes when they are out gathering, bees will fall asleep in flowers. Dogs look at you when they poop because they're in a defenseless position, thus trusting you to protect them if a dangerous situation occurs. I now know why my dog constantly tries to follow me into the bathroom. Don't worry, man. I've got your back. You just do what you gotta do. The number of public libraries in the US is far greater than the number of McDonald's. Choctaw Native Americans raised $170 to send to Ireland in 1847 to help provide relief during the Irish famine. This was only 15 years after they lost their land and 50% of their population died on the Trail of Years. J.M. Barrie gave all the rights to Peter Pan to Great Ormond Street Hospital, a hospital dedicated towards the intensive care for children, in 1929, and this was later confirmed when he died in 1937. Since then the hospital has received royalties every time a production of the play is put on, as well as from the sale of Peter Pan books and other products. While the copyright of the Peter Pan has expired in the United Kingdom, it was granted a special exception under the Copyright, Designs, and Patents Act 1988 that requires royalties to be paid for commercial performances, publications and broadcasts of the story of Peter Pan within the UK, as long as Great Ormond Street Hospital. Giraffes are very curious animals. If you lie down near one they will walk over and check you out. The man who voiced Mickey Mouse married the woman who voiced Minnie Mouse. I think it's adorable. Truth is Walt Disney forced her to because it would help Disney's wholesome image. Just kidding. I just thought I'd follow the trend of ruining a happy, wholesome moment. It really is adorable. Last time Liechtenstein went to war, they sent 80 soldiers to Italy to fight against Prussia. 81 came back, since none of the soldiers died and they brought an Italian friend with them. Elephants have a special, distinct vocalization for the phrase run away. The bees are angry. I don't know why, but it made me laugh uncontrollably the first time I read it. Even though they're mostly seen as an annoyance, pigeons are extremely faithful. They mate for life and if their mate dies, they don't take another. Almost makes me want to feel respectful of them when they build their nest on my balcony. Almost. People are training rats to detect landmines. The rats are too light to set the mines off and can smell the explosive compound extremely well. The rats detect and mark each mine for a reward treat. The rats are very fast and can clear an area 3 times faster than use of electronic minesweepers and with higher accuracy. Dogs have the mentality of a small child. So, if you think about it, no matter how old your dog gets, they will always be a child at heart. When wolves go to hunt, crows and ravens tend to be seen keeping the pups company in exchange for some of the food the wolves bring back. Crows also tend to look for prey while flying and help the wolves find food. Crows and wolves just like being around each other and play together. Ravens tell their babies bedtime stories. This one could be wrong. I might be thinking of a different type of bird, but one kind of bird has been proven to do this. Elephants actually mourn their dead. Dolphin pods have their own dialects and languages, just like how people have different languages in different countries. Basically, animals are more like people than we think they are. There's a post office at the bottom of the Grand Canyon because there's people who live down there, and the post office is required to deliver the mail to every citizen in the US. They have to hike the mail in using people or mules. Apparently they get Amazon packages and junk mail, just like all the rest of us. Central Park Zoo had a bonded gay pair of male chinstrap penguins, Roy and Silo. They carried around and attempted to hatch a rock like an egg, so the zookeepers gave them an abandoned egg to care for. They had a baby called Tango. Goats will learn the name humans give to them and will respond to it. Gentle penguins make their intent known to their beloved by giving them the nicest pebble they can find, and then they mate for life. Seahorses mate for life, travel with their mate by entwining tails, and the male seahorse carries and labors the baby seahorses. Male puppies will let female puppies win during play fighting so that they can spend more time with her. Worms like to snuggle each other. Female elephants dig a pit when they're in heat, line up tasty fruits and leaves around the border of the pit, then lay in it and trumpet softly to attract their mate. They breed over a period of a few days, and eat the fruit to keep up their energy. Dolphins have names, which is a specific whistle pattern that is unique to the dolphin. Other dolphins will mimic these patterns to get the attention of the dolphin they want. Baby chimpanzees make dolls out of sticks, and have been recorded playing make-believe with the puppets, scolding them, rocking them, pretending to bathe and feed them, and putting them to bed. Sheep recognize human facial expressions and will exhibit happiness if they're smiled at by their caretaker. Polar bears will share their meal with other polar bears, but only if the other bears ask politely by touching nose to nose. Baby elephants suck on the tip of their trunk as a comfort stim, similar to how babies and children will suck their thumb or fingers. Giraffe moms will travel all the way back to their own birthplace to give birth to their babies. Macaque monkeys have snowball fights. Mayor Stubbs has been the mayor in a town in Alaska for the past 15 years. He is also a marmalade tabby cat. Grizzly bears, upon setting out on their own as adults, will mark territory as close to their mother's territory as possible. Grizzlies just love their mamas. Unborn chicks are able to communicate to their mother and siblings while still in the egg. There are dedicated babysitters in wolf packs. They stay in a group and protect the pups of the pack while the parents hunt. I always liked the story of Leo Messi and his wife. He is probably one of the most famous and richest stars in the world. He is a big footballer, soccer player. He had to leave his home country, Argentina, as a young teenager because he had pretty severe medical problems and a Spanish club offered to pay the treatment if he joined. He always was in love with the cousin of his best friend from home, and as soon as he was old enough to be able to afford to go back to Argentina regularly, he went back to woo her and they fell for each other. They kept the relationship secret for a long time, so nobody knows how long they have really been together, but it's at least 10 years since they were 19 or 20. He never wanted some supermodel or big star, just her. They seem to have a really happy, peaceful life together with 2 little boys. He almost completely shields them from public life, insisting they live just as a normal family. Part of this means that he doesn't reveal much in interviews, but it's clear that for all his professional success, being a husband and a father is what he cares about most. When cats rub their little face against you, they are claiming you as their property. They also have specific meows for humans. They create this on their own and is specific to their human. They also bring their owners dead animals because they don't think we know how to hunt. This is gonna start out on a pretty low note, so bear with me. Blind Willie Johnson was a blues player who lived from 1897 to 1945. When he was 7, his father came home drunk and beat his stepmother, who in an act of revenge, threw lye in Willie's face, blinding him. Willie lived his whole life playing the blues, one of the few things he could master and make a living at without his sight. He made enough to get by, but was never successful or famous in his lifetime. In 1945, his house partially burned down, but with nowhere else to live, he continued staying there. Exposure to the elements made him sick and he died, penniless. However, right now, on a golden record, there is a recording of Blind Willie Johnson playing the blues, beyond the reaches of our solar system, aboard the Voyager spacecraft, further from home than any man-made object. Despite Willie's struggles, His music is cemented in history, and someday, many years from now, he may make first contact with another life form from beyond the grave. Rabbits will jump and dance when happy. It's called a binky. They also gently grind their teeth when they like how you pet them. Oh, if a rabbit throws itself onto one side, feet kicked out, it feels safe around you. That's 3 facts. But, like rabbits, these things multiply. I was on vacation in Germany over spring break. They have these frog fences. These fences keep the frogs from crossing the roads and getting run over. At the end of the day, somebody comes by and gathers the frogs and helps them cross the road. Racing horses would get really nervous and anxious before races. The solution was to get the horse a goat partner, which would calm them down really well. This is where the phrase "gets your goat" comes from. It means to rile someone up, and people would go and try to steal the goats of horses they bet against to sabotage them. There is an island in the Falkland Islands that was heavily landmined as a result of the conflict between Argentina and Great Britain. As such, it is abandoned by humans as it is too dangerous, but it has since become a safe haven for the local penguin population, as they are not heavy enough to set off the mines. When babies first start to smile, they do it because they notice it makes their caregivers smile back. They do their best to make you happy. Babies cry in their native language. That is, babies born to French-speaking parents cry with different tonal patterns than babies born to parents that speak English or Arabic or German. Astronomer here. I always get a warm and fuzzy feeling remembering that all the elements in us and in everything around us, save hydrogen and a little helium, were forged billions of years ago in a star. Carl Sagan said it best when he said this meant we are all star stuff. As a linguist, I have friends who study lots of lesser-known languages. One works on a language called Otomi spoken in central Mexico. One day he had a native speaker teach him the word for brother. Turns out it's a verb in that language. So, not he's my brother but he brothers me, and the verb is reflexive. We brother each other. But then he noticed it was actually a homophone of the verb for walk. So to say he's my brother in Otomi, you literally say we walk together. Ware late to the party, but children who are deaf and raised by deaf parents will sign repetitive sounds and words at about the same rate hearing babies acquire language. Deaf babies basically sign goo goo gaga the same way hearing children babble when developing language. Hans Island is a disputed territory between Canada and Denmark. The two countries maintain a sense of humor in the dispute. Peter Taxo Jensen has stated when Danish military go there, they leave a bottle of snaps, and when Canadian military forces come there, they leave a bottle of Canadian Club and a sign saying, "Welcome to Canada." Volvo created the 3-point seat belt, but specifically gave away the patent and information so that it could save as many lives as possible. The reason the 3-point seatbelt is so widely adopted is actually because Volvo opened up the patent so that any car manufacturer could use it in their design. They decided that the invention was so significant, it had more value as a free life-saving tool than something to profit from. Volvo's managing director Alan Dessel is quoted as saying, "The decision to release the 3-point seatbelt patent was visionary and in line with Volvo's guiding principle of safety."